Hey everybody, I'm Steve Morris and I screwed something up. Let me tell you about it. So if you remember, this is the big twin turbocharged Ford that made a whole bunch of horsepower that we didn't show you the horsepower numbers, but it makes a lot of horsepower. Um, Let me tell you what exactly happened and tell you why we do this stuff. So we made all that horsepower, dynoed, everything's running great. I shut it down, um, ran the gasoline through it, cleaned out all the injectors, did everything like I normally do. Put it in the crate, sent it to him, and the customer calls me up and says, "Hey," he says, "by the way," he says, "I'm not going to be able to put this in the car right away. We're not done with it, so I'm just going to store it. What do I need to do?" I said, "Take the spark plugs out, put some lube in there, and then." I would roll it over every once in a while, just make sure it stays lubed up and it's not sitting in one spot. And it won't be that long. Well, he calls me back and he says, "Hey, this thing has. I took all the spark plugs out and everything looks great except one plug just has a really light little bit of nibbling on it. I mean, just like really, really, just barely started rounding the corner." I go, "Really?" I go, and then I thought about it and I thought, you know what? I screwed up. I did not pull all the spark plugs out of it before it left because we were running late, and I just was trying to make sure I got everything done, and I forgot to pull the spark plugs after the very last pull because it made a lot of horsepower, that one, and forgot to check it. So I tell the customer, I say, "Hey, go ahead and the customer tells me, sorry, the customer tells me, he goes, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So we'll go ahead and do a leak down check on it. Give me a call back." He does a leak down check. Says everything leaks out good. And I told him, I said, "You know what?" I said, "I made a mistake here. So why don't you put it back in the crate? I will pay to have it picked up, brought back to me. I will 100% disassemble it. I will fix anything that's wrong if there's anything wrong. There wasn't anything wrong. Uh, I'll go through the whole thing, make sure it's right. I will then re-dyno it, and then I will send it back to you, zero money, free of charge." And the customer's happy. He says, "Okay, cool." But the customer was super nice to me, just says, "Hey, we have this little problem here. What do you think?" So instead of coming at me like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a piece of crud. I can't believe you did this, blah, blah, blah," or "What are you going to do?" Didn't come in and say anything like that. He just said, "Hey, I got a problem. What do you think?" I say, "I'll take care of anything that's there and make it right." So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Like I said, there wasn't anything wrong with it. It took 100% apart. So I got a lot of time into this thing because we get it back, we tear it all apart, uh, put it all back together. Now I'm dynoing it and I'm verifying the tune. I'm verifying each injector set is working properly. Went through everything, making sure, trying to see why it nibbled that one plug. Really haven't found anything out why it nibbled a plug. It looks like it might have had one injector that was a little off. So I put a different injector in there. So we're going to change injector, or I got one set of one driver set, one harness, because I want to use just one single harness on it and then just swap over. I know there's another way of doing it. I know that. But I wanted to do it with just our stuff here, just verify everything there. So that's the way we do things here. Just want to tell you that. We'll show you some of the dyno video. We'll do the back to back and show you. Still can't show you the numbers, but I'm going to show you the back to back on. We make a pull with one set of injectors, physically disconnect the injector, connect the other injector, make the exact same pull, overlay it, and see what it looks like. You guys did have a couple questions from the original video. If you want to see the complete original video of this, you have to go back a little ways, and I'll try to put it in the link here at the end of this video. You can watch that entire video again. Big cubic inch, big block Ford, really nice piece. People had questions about this thing. This was a real common question. This is called a chimney. And what it is there is a burst panel that is right in here. So if anything happens inside the intake manifold where it backfires or it sneezes, instead of blowing the intake manifold apart, it blows this burst panel off. And then people will have this going through the hood, and then they would see that it's like shoots fire up through the hood. They knew that it burst, that it backfired through the intake, and it's just a safety thing. And to keep this intake manifold from blowing apart. I personally think that this is uglier than sin, but it is probably necessary. We have burst panels on everything. I just hate these chimney things because I think they look ugly, but that's just me. But they do work, obviously. So let's go out. We're going to make a couple pulls on this thing, and then I'm going to package this thing back up, ship it out to them, and just making sure we have good, happy customers. All right, now we're gonna swap over to the injectors. Yes, I know there's a different way of doing it. Yes, I know exactly how to do it, but I'm doing it this way just to prove a point to myself. So the point of what we're trying to do here is I wanted to use the exact same harness, the exact same driver, everything exactly the same on different injector. Just to prove out, just to make sure that injector is the same, every injector is the same, works, operates, does everything. So when it goes in his car, which is going to have different wiring, always going to have some form of different wiring, even if it has different harnesses it's plugged in. I mean, just the way everything works, we know that the injectors are proper. If there's any issue, it would always be some kind of wiring issue. So now we'll come out, we'll run this again, and we'll compare it right to the last pull. All right, so just saw the second pull. It is the same. I'm not gonna show you the numbers again, so you're just gonna have to suffer it out. You can see here, not concerned about this. This is like about 10 horsepower difference, so a little bit in the meaty middle, don't really care. That's just how it either runs up on the dyno or maybe slight increase in boost, because I'm not trying to lean on it super hard right now. All I want to do is just verify that the injectors are all correct. Everything looks good. But I mean, this is 0. I mean, that's the same, you know, down there at 7,500, going up to 8,000. This is very minimal. That's no big deal. What I wanted to look at was just making sure that they are the same. They are. And I think this thing is very good. So we're going to send this back out to the customer. And this is the way you need to do things. The way things should be done. I'm Steve Morris. Have a great day.